Chevy has spent the last couple weeks at the Nurburgring Nordschleife ringing out 3 C8 Corvettes for all that they're worth, in hopes of taking the Nurburgring lap record away from the AMG One and handing it to America.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
And yesterday they made something of an announcement. Man, whoever thought one day we would be talking about a Corvette taking away the Nürburgring lap record from the Mercedes AMG One. But it's more than just a possibility, because I have a way to determine the ZR1X's Nürburgring lap time using 4 major data points. Now it's a little complicated, but stay with me on this.
Don't be looking at me like that, all right? I can feel your look.
GM has set official lap times for the ZR1 on 5 different racetracks in the US, and Porsche has set official lap times with the GT3 RS on 3 of the same tracks, which are Watkins Glen, Virginia International Raceway Grand Course, and Road America. At Watkins Glen, the lap time for the ZR1 was 1 minute and 52.7 seconds, while the lap time for the GT3 RS was 1 minute and 57.59 seconds, which makes the GT3 RS roughly 5 seconds slower than the ZR1 on that track. At Virginia International Raceway Grand Course, the lap time for the ZR1 was 2 minutes and 32.3 seconds, while the lap time for the GT3 RS was 2 minutes and 37.2 seconds. Again, the GT3 RS was roughly 5 seconds slower than the ZR1. And at Road America, the lap time for the ZR1 was 2 minutes and 8.6 seconds, while the lap time for the GT3 RS was 2 minutes and 13.81 seconds. Once again, the GT3 RS was over 5 seconds slower than the ZR1.
Tighten that bad sucker side the runway like a mother. Shit.
So from looking at these lap times, we can confidently say that the ZR1 is 5 seconds faster than a GT3 RS around a racetrack of these lengths. And this is important because the GT3 RS has set an official Nürburgring lap time, which is 6 minutes and 49.23 seconds, and we can use this as a basis for the rest of our calculations.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
Now, the tracks that the ZR1 and GT3 RS set lap times on were fairly short courses, and if we average out the lengths of the 3 similar courses, we get 3.6 miles. So from this, we come to our first data point. The ZR1 is 5 seconds faster than the GT3 RS per every 3.6 miles of racetrack. And this is crucial because the Nürburgring Nordschleife is roughly 13 miles long. So from this equation, the ZR1 would be 18 seconds faster around the Nürburgring than the GT3 RS, which would give us a time of roughly 6 minutes and 31 seconds, which is 2 seconds slower than the AMG One, but we're just getting started. After setting the lap times we just talked about, Chevy introduced a significantly more powerful brake package for the ZR1. Whereas the original brakes had 6 piston front calipers and 4 piston rear calipers, the new brake package features 10 piston calipers at the front and 6 piston calipers at the rear, and also larger carbon ceramic rotors for all 4 wheels. And this is data point 2. If you ask any race car driver what the most important performance component of a car is, they will tell you the brakes. So we can very conservatively say that this much more powerful brake package will knock at least 1 second off the Corvette's Nürburgring lap time. So now we're down to 6 minutes and 31 seconds, 1 second slower than the AMG One. Also, since setting the aforementioned lap times, Chevy has introduced the ZR1X, which is data point number 3, because this car is in another league than the ZR1. It has 186 horsepower more, quicker acceleration, and a faster top speed. And maybe most importantly, it also has all-wheel drive, giving it better grip around a racetrack, And yes, the ZR1X is heavier than the ZR1 due to the additional hybrid powertrain, but that weight penalty will be more than made up for by the additional power and the additional grip.
The car's cool.
So between the additional horsepower, the faster acceleration, and the all-wheel drive grip, we can conservatively say that the ZR1X will be at least 1 second faster around a 13-mile racetrack than the ZR1, which now gives us a Nurburgring lap time of 6 minutes and 29 seconds for the ZR1X. But we still haven't gotten to the most important factor in this equation. The person who set the aforementioned lap times for the GT3 RS was none other than Jörg Bergmeister.
Well, I drive real fucking fast, so keep up.
And if you don't know who Jörg Bergmeister is, he is a race car driver who won Le Mans, Daytona, Sebring, Nurburgring, Petit Le Mans, Spa, Lime Rock, and on and on and on. And in addition to all those race wins, he also set the Nürburgring lap time for the Porsche GT3 RS, the Porsche GT4 RS, the Porsche 911 GTS, the Porsche Carrera GT, and on and on and on. In fact, out of the top 50 Nürburgring lap records, Jörg Bergmeister holds 5 of those records. Plus, the guy's name is frickin' Jörg Bergmeister. That's like the most Porsche race car driver sounding name you could ever come up with. That name alone cuts 2 or 3 seconds off of a car's lap time. Now the reason I'm telling you all of this is because the lap times for the ZR1 that we originally referenced for our data weren't set by professional drivers who won races at the Nürburgring. They were set by GM engineers who helped design the Corvette. And while I have no doubt that they're all great drivers, their skill is nowhere near the level of your buddy Jörg Bergmeister. And this brings us to our most important data point, the driver. Because it is without question that a professional race car driver of Jörg Bergmeister's ability could finish a Nürburgring lap time at least 2 seconds faster than the Chevy engineers who set the ZR1 lap times. So we can confidently say that the ZR1X has the potential to set a Nürburgring lap time of 6 minutes and 27 seconds, 2 seconds faster than the AMG One.
Why you all in my ear talking a whole bunch of shit that I ain't trying to hear?
Now listen to me, you want what everyone else wants out of life. Good, original, funny, automotive content. And there's only one place you can get all of that, which is my YouTube channel. So you better click below to subscribe, or else you're gonna be stuck watching boring automotive content that isn't funny or even offensive. So we've looked at a lot of lap data and performance variables, but how do the specifications of the AMG One and ZR1X stack up against each other? As strange as it sounds, when you look at the specs of the two cars, they're nearly identical. Both cars are literally the exact same size, with each having a 107-inch wheelbase and each one being 80 inches wide. Both cars are all-wheel drive mid-engine hybrids with internal combustion motors powering the rear axle and electric motors powering the front. And both cars have over 1,000 horsepower. The only real significant differences between the two cars are the aerodynamics, the power, and the weight. But let's face it, both cars are pretty serious porkers. So let's take a close look at how these two cars stack up against each other. Now, if you've already watched this video, you can skip ahead 5 minutes because this is going to be a repeat for you. Or if you really enjoyed that video, just keep watching. The AMG One weighs 3,737 pounds, is powered by an E-turbocharged V6 and has 3 additional electric motors, 1 coupled to the crankshaft and 2 that drive the front wheels, which generate a combined 1,049 horsepower and a reportedly immeasurable amount of torque through an all-wheel drive layout, giving the car a power-to-weight ratio of 0.28 horsepower per pound. It has a 0 to 60 time of 2.9 seconds and a top speed of 218 miles per hour. The ZR1X is estimated to weigh just under 4,100 pounds, is powered by a twin-turbocharged V8 and one electric motor that generate a combined 1,250 horsepower and an estimated 828 pound-feet of torque through an all-wheel drive layout, giving the car a power-to-weight ratio of 0.3 horsepower per pound. It has an estimated 0 to 60 time of 1.8 seconds and an estimated top speed of 235 miles per hour. When it comes to aerodynamics, the AMG One uses a brilliantly designed active aerodynamics package that features downforce, drag, and vent elements that open when needed and generate an astonishing 1,488 pounds of downforce and then tuck away for straightaways, giving the car a smooth and slippery glass-like surface for superior high-speed acceleration and an impressive drag coefficient of 0.29.
Bro was on.
The ZR1X, on the other hand, features a static, high downforce aerodynamics package that generates 1,200 pounds of downforce and keeps the car planted firmly on the track, but also creates unwanted drag during high-speed acceleration.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
With a high downforce package, the ZR1 has a much less impressive drag coefficient of 0.34.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
Not a great plan.
But on a twisty and technical course like the Nurburgring, horsepower and aerodynamics take a back seat to chassis, suspension, and brakes. When it comes to chassis, the Mercedes AMG One is pure race car. It features a carbon monocoque tub with an aluminum front subframe. The rear-mounted gearbox and limited slip differential act as stress members of the chassis.
Back it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh!
The ZR1, on the other hand, is quite a bit less advanced, using an elaborate space frame chassis made of 6 main components and dozens of aluminum stampings, extrusions, hydroformed pieces, and casings.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
The AMG One suspension system features an extremely advanced 5-link aluminum coilover design with transverse adjustable pushrod spring struts.
Welcome to the goodie room.
While the ZR1 uses a much more simplified setup with magnetic ride control active damping shock absorbers. The braking system of the AMG One features 6-piston brake calipers up front and 4-piston calipers in the rear, with carbon ceramic rotors at all 4 wheels. The ZR1 features an incredibly powerful setup with 10-piston brake calipers up front and 6-piston calipers in the rear, and carbon ceramic rotors at all 4 wheels.
All right.
So now that we've got all the specs, let's see which car looks better on paper. The AMG One is an estimated 363 pounds lighter, has a better drag coefficient, and generates 288 pounds more downforce. It also has a more advanced chassis and suspension setup, but the ZR1X has 201 more horsepower, a 0 to 60 time that is an estimated 1.1 seconds faster, an estimated top speed that is 17 miles per hour faster, and more powerful brakes. So at this point, we know pretty much everything there is to know about the AMG One and the ZR1X, other than the ZR1X's weight and Nurburgring lap times.
But that's all right. We'll worry about that later.
So the big question is, when will we get an official lap time from Chevy? While it was exciting to get a teaser about the Corvette on the Nurburgring, the teaser was nothing more than video footage and the Corvette logo, and the post simply said, "Fast as green hell," which means absolutely nothing. So with this teaser, Chevy is either letting us know that they are simply testing the car at the Nurburgring, or that they have an official lap time. and I'm going with the former. I don't think Chevy's been at the Nurburgring for long enough to have gotten official lap time, and there's a good chance they'll continue testing there for several more weeks. And my guess is that even once they do have the official lap times, they're not going to just come out and tell us what they are. They'll continue dropping teasers on social media and then eventually make an announcement telling us that they have the official lap times. And then they'll give us a date of when they'll be making the announcements, which will probably be a week later. So regardless of what happens, it will probably be at least a few more weeks before we know the official number. But I'm looking forward to all of those upcoming teasers, and I really hope Chevy can claim the Nürburgring lap record. And to stay up to date on this story with original automotive content that you cannot find anywhere else, click here to frickin' subscribe, you handsome bastard. And thank you for watching.